Okay guys, so okay, just clear this all frame again. Okay, now we are learning full stack development, and basically full stack development is divided into two parts. One part is called the front end part, and one part is called the back end part.
Sorry, your mic is off.
What? Oh, mic is off right now. Give me 1 minute. Okay, now I hope this time I am audible for everyone. Okay, okay. Now the two part, the front end part and the back end part. Okay, now in the front end part, what we learn? We generally talk about the browsing thing, browser thing. Okay, now suppose this is your laptop. Okay, now and in this laptop there is some website is open. Like suppose there is some YouTube is open. Okay, now and you see that all the stuff like a video player, like a list of card, like a search box, and many things will be appearing. There's some another type of browser we have to open in a next tab. Suppose they have to create an account in a Gmail. The information like input field, lots of input will be appear like first name, last name, and so on. So all the stuff like how to create an input field, how to create a button, how to change the background color, how to add a search box, how to add like a text, how to add a heading, everything you will be understand and you have been learned under the front end. Okay, na front end. And for this we need some tool, some library, some language, something you have to be learned for understanding and creating such type of stuff. And that means you have to learn HTML. Okay, na very first element we learn under the full stack development, under the front end development, and that name is HTML. And HTML full form is the hypertext markup language. Basically this is just a like scripting language where a markup language where we have to be write something in the like a some in a file. Suppose you write something in a file. Suppose there a file. Generally file name is a file.html with some extension. Everyone know file has some extension, and this extension file name is HTML. When you write something in a HTML page and you open in a browser, how to I will teach you how to open a file in a browser. When you open in a browser and the browser support all the HTML page, okay now, and it will be like open like a website, something like that. So we have to understand first to create a file, HTML file, and write something open in a browser, and that code should be written in a HTML format. If you write some like a, in your normal text, it will appear, but this is not an HTML page. This is not like a supporting HTML page, and the browser only shows the normal text and a normal form. If you want to be add the text looks like a website form, like a some text in a bigger form, some text in a smaller form. There is some input field. You have to write under the HTML curriculum and HTML rule. Okay, now the thing is HTML is nothing. You have to create a file with the name of extension HTML, and you put some text which is the follow the HTML rule. HTML rule has means that some criteria have to be known that as this is the HTML markup language. Okay, so this is the thing that you will learn in this class, the how to write an HTML code in an HTML file open in a browser. That's great. Now after that HTML, you have to be implement and write the code of CSS companies. After that, what is the CSS actually? What is the meaning of CSS and the way the CSS has been used? So CSS basically is another uh, a scripting language, and is called the cascading scripting style sheet, not like language, a cascading style sheet. Actually this is the thing is where you can be create a website which look awesome, which looks good as compared to the normal HTML. Means you have to write something in HTML file, but it looks like a weird. It not look well in a website format. Suppose when you open a website, now Wikipedia, Okay, I hope you already know about the Wikipedia. You can see that the normal thing will appear, normal text, there is some informative thing is here, but website looks very normal. Okay, na? Website look very normal, and these things like give me 1 minute guys, someone is coming. I think guys, you are more than you are attending soon. How many students are there guys?
Sir, please be loud, sir. You are not audible, sir.
I am not audible. Actually, I am audible for everyone. I hope so.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Actually,
Yes, sir, you are audible.
I'm telling about the student. The appearing is here is more than like okay.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
I am audible actually. I know I am audible. Okay, now. So I'm here to be. When you open a website, name is Wikipedia. You can see that Wikipedia page. This page is like normal, like text will be appearing. I know this. There are lots of information containing in the Wikipedia page, but the website looks not so well. But if you open a website like Instagram or Facebook or like a YouTube or other type of website, you can see that the website looks very well, very like the content of this website looks very well. There, the background color is very well. The like the text is very like in a good format. Everything is like the website and containing the information is good. But apart from this, the website looks very well. So this thing is possible by the CSS. CSS. If you use more CSS, your website looks very well. If you use less CSS, maybe chances of your website looks very not will not looks well. So this is the part two part. First the HTML part. Second part is the CSS part. Means you put two types of things like HTML and CSS, and the website looks so well in if you put both the things. So this is the thing that you have to learn in this course under the front end part. Now apart from this, you have to learn another thing, and that is thing is called, just change the color. I have to use this. Okay. Now that thing is called JavaScript. Okay. When you want to be create a website which looks like a dynamic, suppose you click a button, there's something like a pop-up will be appearing, the text color will be changed, and the background color will change. Suppose you click a button, the font color will be font size will be increases according to JavaScript code. So this thing is very important, and this is the like heart of the your entire course. So basically, I am using JavaScript everywhere in this course. JavaScript is a programming language basically, and before like 5 to 6 years and 7 years back, JavaScript is like popular, but many developers are going to the learn another programming language like C++, Java, Python basically also. But nowadays, JavaScript so popularity like gain very like exponentially, and you can see that many such time many startups in South Bangalore and Hyderabad are hiring JavaScript developer. That because there is some reason because of hiring these things as compared, sometimes you can see that 80% company and 80% developer are nowadays working in a JavaScript. If you asking me, I having like in the software field, I have a 3 plus and actually the 4 plus experience, and in the last 3 year I am using JavaScript mostly, not because only the front end part but also in the back end part, and also like creating a search engine and so on. I'm using JavaScript. Mostly company are using JavaScript. Before this, actually right now I'm working for a US based company, and all the things and all the tool we're creating in a hand with JavaScript and the Python mostly. But my like team are mostly working in the JavaScript. So you have to learn the JavaScript. And the success story behind the JavaScript is really, if you think about, the another thing is called Node.js. How many people already know about the Node.js? Anyone know about the Node.js? Node.js basically it is not a programming language. It is not like a scripting language. It is not like a tool. Actually, it is just an environment. Okay, it is an environment. What is the meaning of environment? What is the meaning of environment? Basically, why this Node.js come to the picture? Actually, JavaScript is popularity not like right time. It is always like a popular, but mostly JavaScript will only be supported in the front end part. Means JavaScript only supported in the browsing part, not supporting the backend part. Backend, for the backend, public generally use PHP. Okay, like 6 year back, not right now. Even Facebook are built in the PHP. Okay, and apart from the people are using Java in a backend. Python also can be used in a backend. And other programming languages are there. Mostly I'm using some popular programming language like .NET, C Sharp, and so on. So people are using this type of programming language in a backend, but not able to use JavaScript in a backend. Not able to use JavaScript in a backend. So after the Node.js come to the picture, people are can be able to use JavaScript in a backend also. Not backend, in the nowadays people are JavaScript using for creating a AI product also. So JavaScript is very popular nowadays, and it is very easy to use and easy to learn and easy to execute. And also apart from this easy things, JavaScript popularity is also because about lots of library are there. What is the meaning of library in a programming field? Library are the set of code, a collection of code file, which is written by the good developer, which is written by the organization, and people are using this library to be create some scalable product. Suppose you want to be create a like a website. Suppose you want to be create a website. I'm talking about the basic. Suppose you want to create a website, okay, and this website want to be like very similar to the like Gmail or YouTube. Okay, no? Gmail or YouTube. If you want to be on use HTML CSS only, it is very tough and it is very taking time to create such type of website. But nowadays the lots of library, means there are lots of library are used. Just install the library in your project and use it directly, and you can like only like few hour, like 10 hour, basically one day you can be created such an awesome website easily. So that's why the lots of library are there using the Node.js, which is written in the JavaScript. There are lots of library are there. So and people can use this library, and this library are very efficient and very supportive. So that's why this is the popularity gain, and the JavaScript people are using instead of PHP, Java, and mostly Python. People are using not as JavaScript. Okay. Even talking about the Netflix, I hope everyone know about the Netflix. Netflix also uses the JavaScript for the backend, because Netflix think about this JavaScript and the Node.js is very scalable. Okay now. So this thing is like that. Just go to the next page. Please clear the frame. Okay. Now you see that HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Okay. We have to learn to create a website or front end. Okay, now the front end is not over. After the learning these three stuff or these three things, you are going to learn a framework. Very first minute of this video, I am already told you that if you want to create a website like a Gmail, if you want to create a website like a YouTube, if you want to create a website like a Google Drive, I'm not considering Google Drive. So it is very time taking to create such an amazing website using this three technology only. So apart from this, you have to know about the a framework, and name is Angular. In this video, I'm going to learn Angular. In this course, I will have to learn Angular. Basically, Angular is a framework, okay, now, which can be created by this technology: JavaScript, CSS, and HTML. Basically, not only JavaScript, it is using the TypeScript. TypeScript is superset of JavaScript. Don't need to worry about that. Oh, the JavaScript is different from the TypeScript. Mostly all the code are same in the TypeScript. You will really understand if you learning. If you already know JavaScript, it means you know about the TypeScript also. So in this course, we have to learn HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Apart from this thing, you have to learn the Angular, and I will take complete 1 week on the Angular, and we have to create some awesome website by using the Angular. Okay, now this is the part of the front end has been completed. And also between this, like I am using other type of library like Bootstrap and the like jQuery, and so many technology have to be implemented in this thing and in the front end part. Now come to the back end part, guys. Okay, in the back end, basically back end, we have to learn about like first of all, back end means mostly you have to create a REST API. How the REST API work and why we need a REST API. What is the meaning of REST API? Suppose in the front end, you create a login form or sign up form, and you have to need the first name, last name, email ID, password, and other information, and the sign up button. When you click on the sign up button, what is the meaning of it? You have to be contain this information somewhere in your database, somewhere in a database. Okay, means you have to collect this information in a database. Okay, in a database, suppose in a database, for this course I will use a database name is mongodb. I'm going to use MongoDB. MongoDB is very popular and very like a scalable and very efficient database. And right now, MongoDB has many company are offering MongoDB database for free for 1 year. So in this course also we introduce MongoDB cloud database. We have to use the MongoDB free for the 1 year. And the company name is AmLab. It provides 512 MB data free for 1 year, and is very efficient to learning the MongoDB. So it will provide the MongoDB, and you have to store the data in a MongoDB from this. So how this possible? How this possible to store this data? So for this, because MongoDB is somewhere is like a server and support by some programming language. And the last frame I will already told you have to need a backend thing to run a programming language. Okay, na? Run a programming language. Right now, I already said the PHP, Python, and Java are going to be run in a server. So, but nowadays, so not nowadays, I am using Node.js. Means Node.js we create environment for the backend, and the Node.js uses the JavaScript for writing your code. And this course, we have to write some code in some file. We can be get this data. We can get this data in the form of JSON. In a form of JSON, and store this data in this field. After the storing, if our storing is successful, it will return the information. Yes, your data has been stored, and this return data is also in the form of JSON. Okay, you can see that data will be entered in a JSON format and written in a JSON format. So means you will get the information and store the information. Means this server write the code from getting the data from this data, storing data, and returning this data. So this thing is completed by the REST API, and we have to create a REST API. Okay, and in this case, the REST API when you create it, this thing will be easy to be like getting all when. And in this REST API, suppose you created a REST API for this login form and sign up form, it doesn't mean this REST API only applicable for your website. You can use this REST API in other type of application, like an Android application, like in an iOS application, also in a like a desktop application. So suppose you will create only one REST API, and you can use multiple way. You can use this in multiple format, only in desktop format, in like a website format, in like a mobile format, and so on. And this RESTful API has only function to be a store and like give the right give and get the information to the database and this platform. Okay, so this is the some diagram that we have to be implement and that we have to do. Okay, now to come to the technology and come to the programming language that I'm going to use in the backend. So for the backend, we already say the MongoDB as the our database, and for this we use the Node.js. And for writing the REST API, we use a routing library, and the routing framework is called, the name is Express.js also. We are going to use the Express, okay, for creating a RESTful API. Or for storing the data in a database in a MongoDB, we use Mongoose. We use Mongoose. We use Mongoose. And also for other library, I'm going to use like body parser post, but not going to be used in this I'm not going to use in right now, but this thing we are going to be used in this like creating. And we are using the Node.js everywhere. Okay, so I'm going to write my third. First of all, you have to be like HTML, CSS, and basically JavaScript. You have to learn, and we can create good website. Some website like normal website. Now we also use some other library like Bootstrap and jQuery for creating some awesome website. And apart from this, you have to learn Angular, which is the uses all this technology. Okay. This is a part of the front end. And then back end we have to use like Express, MongoDB. Okay. And suppose this is a board. Okay. Just suppose all they are board. I'm not like a good artist, but this is all the board. And this is the all the river. Okay, now I'm using the different color for creating a river. Suppose this is all the river. Okay, okay, this is a river. So, and then why I'm drawing this like diagram like Angular and the river and so on, because I'm going to be use this river is not about nothing. This river is called your Node.js, which uses the JavaScript. Means you can see that JavaScript is everywhere in this entire course. Okay, now if for JavaScript in MongoDB, JavaScript in Express, JavaScript in Angular, and also Node.js in Angular. Not like it on normal JavaScript can be used in the Angular, but also you have to use the Node.js for Angular. So look at this graph and try to understand this. Node.js is a river, and all the technology is a board, and you have to create a like complete photo, and this technology is called about. First I'm using the me m. I'm extracting the MongoDB m from the MongoDB, e from the Express, a from the Angular, and n is the river your Node.js. And this course is called mean, and this course meaning is like mean stack. If someone talking about the mean stack, means that developer and that people already know about this technology, or not only the Express but also the Mongo, but also the Angular, but also the like Node.js. So entire thing is called mean, and the entire diagram, entire photo is called the mean stack. And if you are learning all this technology, all the stuff, you are called a mean stack developer, also called the full stack developer. So apart from this, we also learn how to deploy this website. Suppose using this library and the framework and tool, you can create a website like a Gmail, like a YouTube, and so on. And this the website you have to deploy. So in this course, in end of this course, we are trying to deploy it in a multiple framework like the AWS, Amazon Web Services, like the Google Cloud, like Heroku, some other like private server are there. So lots of things that you have to deploy this website in this one. And also we use how to be like create a complete project by using this library. So in this end, we are going to be also deployment part you have to learn. So this is the thing that you are going to learn in the next like 1 month. So tell me guys, if you have any query, any question, then you can ask me. Are you able to understand completely, or Should I repeat this? Hello? At
Yes,
least
sir, it's fine.
it's fine, na? I hope you understand everything.